We know our parent graphs. We just graphed sine of x and cos of x. What does that 2/3 do? Think of your transformations unit. What would that 2/3 do? Is it inside the function or outside the function? Vertical or horizontal? It's going to be vertical. What are you going to do to your y values then? Multiply them by 2/3. Now, the question says just determine the amplitude. What we're going to do is we are going to draw a graph of these right away. So for A, as far as drawing the graph, for a normal sine graph, a sine graph went from -1 to 1. That was the minimum and the maximum. If you multiplied that by 2/3, now your maximum instead of 1 is going to be 2/3. And instead of -1, -2/3. Because we've multiplied all the y values by 2/3. Your x values are not getting changed. So when we drew sine before, we marked a place for 2 pi, 1 complete cycle, and split that up into 4 equal sections. Now, where does your sine graph start? Sine graph always started in the middle, going up. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to start in the middle, going up. And now at pi over 2, instead of going up to 1, it's going to go up to 2 over 3, back to the middle, down to -2 over 3, and back to the middle. Draw our nice curve through there, and we have our graph. What's the amplitude? Two-thirds. Part B. What is that -4 out in front going to do? Multiply x or y? It's going to multiply your y values by a -4. If we were describing it, we would describe it as a vertical stretch and a vertical reflection. It'll reflect over the x-axis. So if a cos graph normally went from -1 to 1, what's it going to go to now? From -4 up to 4. And since what we did didn't affect our x values, we can still mark one full period at 2 pi and divide it into 4 equal sections. Now, where does a cos graph normally start? And you're going to hear me say, where does it start? And you notice that instead of saying for sine start at 0, I said start in the middle. And I'm going to say that more often because sometimes things get moved up and down. So it doesn't always start at 0, but it will always start in the middle. And a cos graph, we're not going to say starts at 1. We're going to say it normally starts at a maximum. So if a cos graph normally starts at a maximum, where will a negative cos graph start? At a minimum. So this one is going to start down here. It's going to go to the middle, then to the next maximum, back to the middle, and back to the minimum. And we just graphed -4 cos of x. What is the amplitude? Now, amplitude is always the measurement from the center line to the maximum or from the center line to the minimum. And since it's a measurement, it's always positive. So we would say our amplitude is 4. As far as a pattern goes, if I gave you, what's the amplitude of this one? 3. Good. How about that one? 5. What about this one? 71. Okay, not -71, but 71. Now, if a sine graph normally started in the middle going up, how would a negative sine graph go? Start in the middle going down. Okay, so here are, we will do 2 examples, but I'll give you some questions. 3A and B. 4, 5, and 9.